Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Hive. And this is from writer-director Jared Almond, and this is a horror sci-fi thriller that's right out of the Body Snatcher handbook in terms of you have this couple who certainly are having some marital issues. There's a disconnect, their kids are out with her mother that night, and they try to have a good night out, except things are a bit rocky between Albie, played by Timothy Haig, and Penny Christine Griffin. And it sets up some solid human drama that helps attempt to carry you throughout this film, which only an hour and 26 minutes. But when they return home, there's strangers in the home, and they call the police, and the police are like, "He lives there. What are you doing?" And then their neighbor is acting all weird, and yes, they've been replaced. And Miles Tabor, who plays like the main strange man in their home, has this really weird offbeat performance. I'm like, okay, I can appreciate like weird guy performance over here, which like he's creepy. He like, it's one of those kinds of things where it's like you throw like an actor like Nick Cage into a role like that and they just come up with a bunch of weird idiosyncratic tics and stuff like that. I think Tabor does a fine job bringing that to life. But the thing is, this film doesn't do much outside of hitting on those very basic and very familiar Body Snatcher story type beats. And it's only, like I said, it's only an hour and 26 minutes, so there's not a whole lot of narrative here. So like, story-wise and narrative-wise, it's not surprising at all. It leads up to exactly how you would expect this to go. And from, like, the human drama perspective, I said it's solid, and like I believe Griffin more as Penny gets me attached emotionally. Haig I thought did a fine job, but they weren't particularly interesting as a couple on screen, and didn't really make me want to like really get invested and pulled into this story. And you know, there's a couple of different interactions with certain people around their neighborhood that it's like, oh, something's off about them, and you're like, they're obviously not them. And you're kind of just like wanting to yell at the screen because you're like, stop being dumb. But this film definitely was made for like a smaller budget. I think it does an alright job of trying to maximize it. I just feel like this doesn't offer a whole lot interesting or new. Besides, when you see some of these like beings in possibly their true form, I thought it was an interesting choice visually, what they look like, how they speak to each other, and like those are a couple interesting choices. Everything else, most choices in this film were not particularly interesting and were pretty mundane and what you would expect from a film like this that heavily is influenced by the story of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which there's so many adaptations like this. It's not doing something interesting and fun like The World's End. It doesn't go with like that true body horror like the 70s Body Snatcher. It's just there. And if you like sci-fi thrillers and are okay with just this like brisk, quick kind of experience, check it out. If it's not, and you want something a little bit more elevated than that, a little bit more than that, this does not quite get you there. But those are my thoughts on The Hive. Let me know what you think. Let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in, supporting your Wasteland reviewer.